WWE Survivor Series is 25 days away about now, I think. Yes, about 25 days away. And we did an update on this just because there weren't really predictions because nobody was announced for the teams. But now people are being announced for teams for traditional Survivor Series matches. First off, there are no people announced for the male side of the Survivor Series match. What I mean by that is SmackDown and Raw will be having 3 separate Survivor Series matches, 2 5-on-5s and 1 10-on-10. One for the male competitors, one for the women competitors, and one for the tag team divisions. The male competitors have not been announced for that, so we don't know anything about that yet, so we'll just move on to that. Next up, we have the Women's Survivor Series Tag Team Match, 5-on-5. The winners, just brand supremacy on the line at this point. The only one that has been announced at this point is Nikki Bella. Since on SmackDown last night, she defeated Natalya to become the captain for Team SmackDown. There's not really much to say about that. Just because Nikki is the only one on the team. So, by virtue of that, SmackDown automatically wins at this point. But just because she's the only one on the team. So, but until teams have actually been formed, I cannot really good actual judgment on that. Just based on what right now happens, SmackDown automatically wins because they have only one person, and she's the only person in the match so far. Next up, kind of the same deal here as the SmackDown Live team has almost already been completed. By virtue of just being the tag champions, Slater and Rhino are automatically a part of the Survivor Series team for Team SmackDown. They will probably captain the match for their team. But, and again, this is a 10-on-10 Survivor Series match. So basically, for those that don't know how that works, if you or your partner are eliminated, then you or your partner, whoever got pinned or eliminated, the other person is also out of the match. And that continues until only one team literally survives because whether it's a team or several teams on a team, it's just basically survival at that point. But with that being said, since they're the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, Rhino and Slater will be automatically in the match. And the Hype Bros qualified for the match by defeating the Ascension last night on SmackDown. So far, Team SmackDown is the Tag Team Champions, Rhino and Slater, and the Hype Bros, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. But it's an interesting caveat with this because for Rhino and Slater to be in the match, they have to hold on to the belts all the way until Survivor Series, which is about a month. About a month. So that's not bad, but, it's interesting to see what happens from there. But by virtue, again, of them only being the only people in the match, SmackDown automatically wins at this point. I can't really give an accurate prediction because we do not know what's going on. And with that being said, we'll just have to move on to the actual match that has been made for the Survivor Series, and that is Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, the rematch from WrestleMania 20. And let's face facts here. That match, I mean, for what it was okay, but not the match that people dreamed about. This was a dream match at WrestleMania 20, but both men were leaving the company. Brock to leave for the NFL, and just Goldberg's contract was up at that point. And yeah, the only redeeming quality of that match was Stone Cold Steve Austin as the referee. That was, probably the only person that could have kept them in line to begin with. And Austin stunned both of them at the end of the match after Goldberg won. So it's a thing that happened. But this will be more of the match that people have been looking for, because this will probably be Goldberg's retirement match, because he said that Goldberg was next, but more importantly, Goldberg was last, which means this will probably be his final match. And knowing WWE, in your final match, except for Trish Stratus, you lose it. That is a fact. Happened to Ric Flair, happened to Shawn Michaels, happened to basically almost everyone that has retired and had a retirement match. at the very least. It's a great match. You know, it's a thing that's there. I'm not really that excited because we've seen it before, but it will be a match. It will be a thing, and I feel like if Brock Lesnar was to lose, then it would be the Goldberg. But you have to keep building up Brock Lesnar as the man that beat the streak, that conquered the streak, and the man that put Goldberg out of action for good. And it makes me feel, we don't know how long Goldberg's actually going to be here. He was mainly here to promote the video game for 2K's WWE 2K17, but in some capacity, much like Warrior, much like Sting, much like people before them, since they've been on the game, they've been in some capacity in the company. We do not know Goldberg's full status, but this could be his last match. It probably will be his last match. And knowing Vince, Brock will be going over. And with that being said, Survivor Series is 25 days away. And as the weeks go on, as the teams regress, we'll keep you updated as time goes on.